Misogyny is not hating women. That's a completely useless definition that's actually counterproductive, and all it does is help sustain the patriarchy. Let me explain. Describing misogyny as hating women eliminates our ability to actually diagnose anything that we see in front of us as being misogynistic for a few different reasons. Let's use Donald Trump as an example. So if you say Donald Trump is a misogynist, first of all, you can't get inside his head. How are you going to prove that internally he hates women? Second, there are women that he loves. He loves MAGA women. He probably loves his wife. He loves women who he's attracted to. He loves women who help him further his goals. And he just generally loves women who behave accordingly to gendered and societal roles. Misogyny, and all of this is from Kate Mann's Down Girl, which I highly recommend, is more productively understood as a political phenomenon. It should be understood as a system that operates within a patriarchal social order to police and enforce women's subordination and to uphold male dominance. It's a system that is policing people into behaving within their gendered norms and expectations, and it's policing people to continue to uphold the patriarchy. Misogynists can love their mothers, not to mention their sisters, daughters, wives, girlfriends, secretaries. They need not hate women universally or even very generally. They tend to hate women who are outspoken. The election was all about misogyny, and that doesn't mean that people went into the voting booth thinking, I hate women. What it was is that this election was policing people's gendered norms. It was ensuring that trans individuals can't get health care, ensuring that women across the United States perform reproductive duties, about making sure that a woman didn't have authority over men, and so much more. I have so much to say about this topic because this is such an incredible book. I am the feminist lawyer. Follow me if you enjoy being miserable. How is misogyny different than the patriarchy, and how are those different from sexism? And let's also talk about Shrek. In patriarchy, women are subordinate to men. There's like a gendered hierarchy, just like how in Shrek, the fairy tale creatures are subordinate to the human-like characters. Misogyny is the mechanism. It's like the tools that we use to sustain the patriarchy. It's how we keep people in line. In Shrek and in real life, they're using laws, they're using policies to enforce this subordination. Social stigma and pressures and policing is also another mechanism to ensure that people are acting according to their gender or fairy tale creature characterness. And sexism is the belief that is justifying the misogyny and the patriarchy. Belief that ogres are just naturally smelly, they are naturally less than, they naturally belong in swamps. We're using that belief system to justify keeping them in the swamps and treating them differently. Keep in mind that the misogyny that you face as a fairy tale creature may look very different depending on what type of fairy tale creature you are. Okay, I don't know why I'm still going on with this analogy. Basically, women are not treated monolithically, so the type of misogyny that you face is going to look very different if you are a white woman or a woman of color, or you have a disability, or based on your class, or based on your sexual orientation, things like that. And feminism is an ideology that pursues the equality of the sexes. Yeah, so in a patriarchy, women are subordinate to men. And what I'm saying is that misogyny is not this phenomenon whereby an individual hates all women. And as I explained in my last video, that definition is really useless and counterproductive because virtually no one will meet that definition. But if we understand misogyny as a political phenomenon whereby individuals utilize social control to continue to subordinate women and uphold male dominance, then everything you're saying here fits neatly in that model. But what I mean by social control is that patriarchal and misogynistic forces will reward women who are being good girls and who are abiding by patriarchal social norms, and it will deter and be hostile towards women who disrupt that or do not conform. So like misogynists are deterring women from stepping out of bounds from their gendered norms in terms of labor by, for example, with reproductive labor. Women who do not freely and happily do reproductive labor are typically labeled as sluts or being selfish, being overly career driven. They're trying to use social stigma as a method of social control. When I'm looking at my vote in terms of the 2024 elections, Trump frequently called young women who were concerned about abortion rates as being dumb, as being stupid, these stupid college girls. One that really sticks out to me is when Elon Musk went on Twitter to threaten Taylor Swift with SA after she dared to come out in support of Harrison Walls. That element of social control, of course, involves the law. So the right is threatening women who have abortions with prison time, doctors who help women with prison time, referring to women, 25% of women who have had abortions as murderers. Again, the social stigma. He smiled at, so street harassment may be utilized to try to remind and assert to women that you owe men your attention and your time. The examples are endless. Misogyny tries to reward good girls and punish bad girls. And it's not just punishing when you're a bad girl, but it's ensuring that women know that if you step out of line, that you may face hostility. So there's like that threat element of it as well. I will pause there because I could talk about this forever. So let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments.